Here we go. So, we just want to review briefly the shadow stuff. Because
Okay.
there's not that much room. And
Yeah.
We beat that to death anyway, but, and then after that, I don't know, we lived to have some ideas, I'm not kind of running out of ideas.
Well, I was thinking Foxtrot or Nickel Tuesday.
Right, we haven't really done
This
this.
in this room, let's
Yeah.
see what we do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right.
Let's try to music, because,
Oh.
I think we're already beat the basics enough that. Go to the camera, so we're not, so that's why I'm facing. Somehow.
So you'll just do two, and that last one you'll turn around, yeah.
But I feel like you're lagging me or something, I don't know.
Try it one more time, and then if you need to, I'll do it with each one of you first. Oh, kind of ran out of space there. But that was better.
I think I remember what
Yeah.
focus
My
was.
reason I was hesitant was because I thought we were, let's see, when you come across here, I go forward, like this, then I think go forward. Is that
Yeah,
right?
once you get to shadow,
Yeah.
so let me do that with you one time. So once you get to shadow, you're going to step forward with your right foot. And this is how we kind of talked about it, is moving. You're going to go forward with your right, but you're going to move towards your left, right? So you're going to go. And I'm just doing the shadows just to get a feel of that, right? But so that first one, getting started, is probably the hardest, I think, right? Because you start from your turn and you go right into it. So when you step forward with your right foot, you're kind of crossing your right foot, right? Yeah. But when I mean crossing, so I'm going, stepping kind of here instead of stepping out this way. Because then my next step continues that way. Then you see how I step across myself, and then I continue, step across. You can see the different directions, right?
We already turned around. Right.
And right foot. So we go. Yeah. Want me to do that with you one time? So we already got into the shadow. And you're gonna, when you step forward with your right, go across in front of your left foot. Yeah. And then cross this way. Cross that way. Whoop. But then, watch that you don't overturn your body, because your body was turned away from me. This way. I go towards you. You come towards me. I go towards you. Yeah, I think when you turn this way, then you're staying turned in that direction, right? So if you turn a little bit that way, and then your next step is turn that way, then it's not going to work, right? So if you do this, it's usually when you step across. Let's see. Yeah, so just do that first step one more time. So go 1. Yes, there you go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, when you turn this way, you tend to overturn, and then it's hard to get back to the other direction. When you turn to your
I'm
left.
reacting to the fact that usually I don't turn it up. I wasn't zigzagging enough.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to overcompensate
Yeah.
probably.
So one thing that I'm adding today that I don't think I talked about last time is the stepping across
Yeah, you
yourself.
didn't talk about
right?
that.
But do you see how that helps? I think that helps set up the direction for you. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1. 1. 1. Yeah? Did I get a better flow that time?
Okay.
So each time on 1, I'm actually stepping across in front of my other foot. So you're both going to step a right foot across. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Left foot across. 1. Right foot across. 1, 2. Left foot across. 1, 2, 3. Right foot across. Yeah. That was a nice one.
Let's do the whole thing.
How'd that feel to you? Yeah. That was a very nice one.
Okay, I'm just gonna do that.
And then you're going to do
Two
2.
exit.
Yeah. Because you only have space for 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Ah, so Linda, your first step went out this way instead of
And
across.
then she threw me off and she kind of got stuck there.
Well, as soon as I
Yeah.
step that way,
Yeah.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1. Ah, I want to follow that turn. Let's see how you're leading that turn. I'm not sure. So, if I just did it slow one time, so you're looking on this side, I know you're listening to me, but you're going here to here, right? Now, you're still on this side of me. You're already trying to come over here. So still just step back where you are, and then I turn to there, right? Because I think when you're doing your open left turn, then you're trying to get over here, and that's in her space, right? So you want to stay on your left side. So you're looking on the left. Stay on that left side. Stay there. Then. And then I'm going to come out this way. I just kind of took it around the
Yeah,
corner.
right.
Yeah? So stay on the left. 1 on the left. That was better though. Yeah. And let me lead you one time because I still feel like you want to get out of her way, but maybe you feel like you need to. So let me. Okay, let me do that one more time.
You made me walk my way to the back. Let me go to the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then make sure before you take, so you're going to land on your left foot and balance there. Then 1. Yeah, right?
yeah.
Or else it goes 3, 1.
Otherwise, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
wobbly.
And then you're actually taking the step before me.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Up. So you stop doing the box. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So that. I was thinking something. I don't think I put my heel back. As opposed to,
You're going to do it
or
for that.
the turn.
Slow one. 1, 2, 3. Up. So you should still be on this side. Yeah, on 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Right. That collection right there just balances you out, or so that you're not kind of falling into that step. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Collect. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
feel like you're
I'm
way
going,
behind me. Like,
one, it seems to be with my right foot, and if I'm not,
like I'm going two and she's kind of still
I
back
know,
here.
because I'm on one. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in my head,
Yeah.
and you're on the next
Yeah.
step.
Oh, okay, so timing. You want me to count it?
I know that was the time of the music, but
I'll count it with the music. 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, so the music kind of slowed down right there.
It's the,
well, then you look, you stop.
Let me go back to a different song. That's easier to.
because it's so
Yeah.
down.
That's a good strict tone. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's all right, it's not great.
Yeah, that was better, I thought. What did you feel wasn't great? Which part?
Well, I don't know.
You didn't just feel synchronized together? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nice turn. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Whoop, that time you didn't get yours. But I thought other than that, that was a very nice one. Yeah. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Whoop, there you lost your balance a little bit on that turn. Where the turn, the one before, was like the best turn you've done. So you got, whoop, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, cross, 2, 3, turn, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
The very first one is.
Feels rushed.
Rushed, yeah, I don't feel comfortable or something. That's,
Yeah, because she's coming out of that turn, and you're doing a chasse, that might make you rush a little bit too. And then she's coming out of that turn, and it feels
and then
a little
right
quick.
away, the
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, to shift gears between
Yeah.
the initial step and then the
And what
shadow thing.
what I think about doing for the man's part too is 1, 2, and 3, and I collect this foot, so now it's ready to. I'm all balanced.
Yeah, that's how I don't feel ready to go.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd go 1, 2, and 3. I just
Right.
speed it up because
Right.
I said, I gotta get that in there.
And then it's hard to kind of slow back
Yeah,
down.
right.
Okay, one more time.
Last time.
And you're doing completely different things there, so that makes it more challenging. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1. And the turn, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1.
Okay.
I think my foot rubber's off.
So you think
That's okay. We're
On the
done.
chasse at the
Yeah,
end?
yeah.
You got the chasse in though.
Yeah, I tried to do it with someone else. Didn't seem like.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know what to do in terms of like Foxtrot.
One.
Other than that, I still need work at it. It's still
Are you doing the Foxtrot mixers? Or do you tend to?
I tried it last night. Yeah, last time
Okay.
I did it. I did it about 3 partners, and the one partner I got couldn't dance at all. I tried everything. I was good. I stepped on her toes, and then I just quit. You know, you gotta get these bad. Some I did okay with, and some of them was just it was torture.
Yeah, and so if she wasn't, did she not know how to dance?
I don't think she knew how
Yeah,
to dance.
so doing really basic
Yeah.
bronze
I was thinking trying to do
Foxtrot.
basic box steps, and she couldn't follow box steps. I mean, it was just
Oh,
really-
she couldn't follow box.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh.
tried some of that. I said, okay, let me
Yeah.
dumb it down. Of course, even if you try to do Foxtrot, just do the slow, quick thing. A lot of people don't know that. They know the box, but they don't know that other basic stuff.
Really?
You know, so, because they're used to just boxes, you know.
Huh, that's
So,
interesting.
I don't know.
If they haven't ever taken any lessons too, or they've gone into classes that were above their level,
Yeah.
they might
I
miss
was
out on the
surprised that
basics,
she-
which is too bad, because that's really
Just
the
fact that she
foundation.
participated, just amazing. It's just total disaster. We couldn't do anything.
But, you know, they probably thought, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, somebody's going to answer this.
Yeah.
Oh, whoopee.
Yeah,
So,
but, I mean, because you're used to now a different different level of dancing,
Yeah.
right? Than people that come in and don't know how to dance at all. They're like, wow, this is great, you know?
So it still sort of depends on the song. I have to like the song. If I don't like the song, it's either too fast or too slow, I can't do it, you know. So I don't know where the fix is, you know, other than just keep trying.
And does it feel like it's your timing? Can I put on a Foxtrot and you just do a little bit?
sure.
Okay, let's just look at it.
It could be the timing too.
Yeah, that's what most people have trouble with, the Foxtrot timing. Because like waltz, you're speeding up for the chasse, but everything
Yeah.
else is even tempo.
I like songs that really glide, and if they're too slow or too fast, then it's not. But I like it if they just really.
Just in time, I found you just in time. Before you came, my time was running low. I was lost, the losing dice were tossed. My bridges all were crossed, nowhere to go. Now you're here, and now I know just where I'm going. No more doubt or fear, I found my way. For love came just in time. You found me just in time and changed my lonely life that lovely day.
I feel like I'm pretty too loose too. I keep, as we were dancing, I was okay, but I felt like it was not a real stiff ring, you know. It was,
Solid.
yeah,
Like,
not solid. It
Yeah.
was kind of a little goosey.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Actually, but it wasn't bad though.
Yeah.
I mean, the dance, you started to get a little bit. I don't know if you were holding the timing a little bit, slowing him down, or you could hear it, and then you'd start to get a little fast, then you
Yeah,
slow
no,
yourself
I
a
did
couple of
notice that,
times,
yeah.
and then you slowed back down, and but you never totally got out of time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is actually pretty good because again, you're speeding up, slowing down,
Yeah.
speeding up the whole time, right? Yeah. But yeah, that definitely could always use more work on the frame.
Yeah, right.
Right. So that's more.
And even now, I just feel like it's like a little clumsy on some of the steps, you know. When I do the open up, it doesn't feel graceful to me. Like I'm doing the step, but it's not stylish or
Like
graceful.
when we dance together, I kind of know what he's gonna do.
Right. Right.
So when he dances with someone else who doesn't know what he's
That's
gonna
where the big problem
do, I
is.
think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to.
Because on the mixers is what really gets
Yeah,
you, right?
right.
When you're dancing with all the other ladies. Yeah. I think being more, it's just more detail oriented, like knowing a little bit more and what your feet are actually doing. So, sometimes it's, for social dancing, if you were doing competitive dancing, you know what I mean, that you would want to make sure that you're being really clear. But even for social dancing, it makes it much easier for the lady to figure out what you're doing if your footwork is really clear, like
Yeah.
heels and toes, like we've talked about, and exactly like where your feet are going, because it's easy to like overturn something, to get it to fit on the floor.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you kind of lose,
Yeah.
your, and whether you're closing your feet or passing your feet, it's easy to be kind of in between where they don't really close, but they're not. Like if I was doing a close, you'll see them touch, right? You'll always see my feet come all the way together instead of kind of.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm really kind of sloppy in the details.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I go through the basic step 80%, but then the 20% sloppiness takes away from it.
And then if I'm going to pass my feet, I want to make sure that it's clear that I'm passing. So you can see that my feet aren't together. You can see my feet obviously aren't together. But a lot of times, and you did this a few times, it was kind of in between, like, is that a together or is that a
Yeah,
pass? Is that a together?
Yeah, see, I don't
or-
pay a lot of attention to that at all. So if I put it together, it's through an accident.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. But those are the things that I think it starts, if it's not clear what you're doing, even to you start to lose track of where you're at,
Uh-huh.
right? Because I know I'm forward side back or forward side together. I know what part of the move I'm in, but if my feet aren't, clear, then it's, my partner can lose track and you can even lose track of where you're at.
And even like when you do.
Or you can go faster.
Uh,
You can speed up, like
Yeah.
sometimes you took that last step a little fast, put it down a little bit
Right.
quick, and then you got it a little faster than the music. But then you know music well enough that you would hear it
yeah.
and slow back down.
What's the fix, though, I mean?
Well, one thing I was thinking of, we could just do repeated, like open right and open left, and you really can diagnose those
Yeah,
steps.
that's
just
a
to
very
see
good idea.
What, because I don't feel right at all. Like when I do open right, I'm not sure I'm doing it right. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm taking a big lunge up here, and to try to get to the other side, that doesn't feel graceful,
Mm-hmm.
And when we do the passes, I feel like, I gotta hurry up, get around here. The he goes, she goes thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel good. Even just the she goes,
right.
it doesn't feel nice.
And on all of
graceful.
those moves that you can just become more accurate
Yeah.
on how you do them, which is a
Uh-huh.
good thing because it looks better too. Like
Yeah.
it makes you, not that you're in it for how you look, but it's like, oh, it was a good dancer. You like to be appreciated for, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm passing, we're trying to do this thing, and it doesn't feel right. When we do this, it just doesn't feel like you're really reaching out and extending it. Even though you try, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So let's work on some of those. Take individual steps.
You want to do the open left turn to start with?
Yeah. And then you can diagnose.
Well, actually, let's do a closed box step first.
Okay.
And just make sure that you can actually feel your feet touch
Yeah.
together, right? You know what it feels like if your feet are here, and you know what it feels like if they touch. Yeah. Yeah.
But you should be brushing like as you go to the
Yeah,
step.
for Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Not for waltz, because you don't have enough time. But
Oh, okay.
Foxtrot, because you've got that extra beat, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Because the slow is 2 beats. This is your slow, 1, 2. This is your quick, quick. Slow, quick, quick. 1, 2, 1. And I think that, again, if you're very aware of each beat of the music, where you're at, that helps you to stay on time with the music, right?
And part of that is even the brushing, you could do like, what I was just doing is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You should actually be deliberate, like there should be a pause, and you're counting the 1, 2, the 2 come together.
Yeah, let's put on some music so
Yeah.
we can feel that.
Because see, I don't pay attention to that stuff at all, so if I do it, it's an accident.
Do you want to do it toward or towards the camera, maybe? Or towards
It's
the
toward the camera.
Yeah.
Just
So if I do, I'll do it kind of in front of you. I'm going to stand here so I can see what you're doing behind me. So if we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
I was lost.
Should there be any bounce in the steps or not?
Dice were tossed.
Like I tend to want to bounce a little bit.
My breath
Oh, should there be a bounce? Is that what you said?
nowhere.
It depends. You want to be relaxed. You don't want to be.
Now you're here.
Right? So a little relax especially when I do that rush. Step, rush, step, rush.
For love came just in time.
And you see how I get like a little swing,
Just in time.
step, brush, swing, over. And the feet are touching. It looks like you're both doing that. off for a second. I just want to work on the swing action for a second. Because I think that really helps.
Yeah.
So maybe turning this way. So if I'm going, if we all just start in the same direction, if I'm going forward and I brush here, when I go to the side, do you see how before my body moves, my foot goes out there? Then, if you look, it creates like a little bit of an angle, right? Because my head's still balanced over the left foot. And then when I go to the side, I keep that angle. So if we just kept going side, 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 and I'm using just the ball of the foot. Now in Foxtrot, there's two ways that you can do it. The more basic way is to go put the toe out and actually drop into the heel. Toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. The more advanced way is actually to not drop the heel. So you can do it either way. That gives you more shape. If I drop the heel, that levels me out. If I keep the heel up, I have more shape. So I'm never dropping that right heel when I'm moving to the right.
I like that better.
Yeah, right? And then if we went to the left, again, while I'm balanced on this foot, I'm putting the leg in front of me, which helps me be balanced because it's preceding my body. And again, the more basic way would be to drop that heel. And each time also, when I go to the side, I'm lifting out of the right heel and transferring my weight over. So it'll either transfer to the heel or it'll transfer just to the ball of the foot. But do you see how I'm always first coming up out of that right foot? So I'm using the right foot to move me over. So I'm kind of lifting and push, lift, push, lift, push. So going to the right heel is off if we're doing that way. Oh, and you're the other way. So your sway is opposite of the way that you're moving to balance yourself. Because if I go this way, I'm kind of falling into it, right? So the sway is to help you counterbalance, right? So if you're going to the left, yeah, you're like opposite. And then I want to make sure that I'm not, like doing, right? And most of it comes from how I'm putting the foot out here, not because I'm dropping the body over. Yeah. And then make sure your feet come all the way together each time, right? So I pull them till they touch. Till I feel them touch. Oh, a little bit closer. Yeah, you were the right shape. That way, yeah. Close them all the way. Yep. So I pull it in until it touches. Pull it in until it touches. Yeah. Now, if I add that into the box step, and we do, so if I start with the forward step, it's one forward step and one of those to the right, then a back step and one of those to the left. And when I'm on the forward and back, the body's vertical, it's neutral, no shape. So it's only when you're moving sideways you have that sway. So no sway as I go slow, then quick, quick, then no sway, and this way. So in between I get to neutral, swing, neutral, swing, step, brush, swing, step, brush, swing, step, brush, swing. Remember the forward and back has none. Then the side. And the side has it because we put the foot out first and swing over. Then we step back, brush, put the foot out first, so it brushes in, then it goes out here, then we move ourselves onto it. So it goes to the brush, foot, step, neutral, sway, step, neutral, sway, step, neutral, sway, step, neutral, sway, step, neutral, sway.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
And it's so basic, you was
And it's good to work because that's the same sway that you're going to do at all the levels. So if you started off and just the basic, box step, then you get the feel of it without being, doing something complicated at the same time.
So if you had a group lesson and you taught that, I think most people would say, yeah, that's too basic. move on. Give me some fancy
Give me some
throws.
steps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
But it helps with the lead, because if he's doing that, I'm gonna do it too.
yeah, yeah.
And then I know where we are.
So let's practice as a couple doing that. And let's see.
Step, brush. Remember the brush? Side together. Oops.
I went the
Yeah.
wrong foot.
Yeah, you didn't change your feet when you brought your feet together that time. Step, brush, side together, step, brush, side together, step, brush, side together, step, brush, side together. Yeah, so let me do it with each one of you. I'll do it with you first. So again, your shoulders are relaxed. And don't worry about, do you see how you're, because that's gonna pull me off balance. So you want me to be over my,
See that you're leaning back, and I can feel some tension. But when we're dancing, it's like there's no tension at all.
and then you have to feel like you have to
then
create
I
it.
feel like this, you know.
Yeah, so taking your elbow out, relaxing that shoulder a bit, and just a light, because you don't want to pull me out of, so now I'm standing on my whole foot. Here, you felt like you were pulling me out into that. Step, brush, swing, 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 step, brush, swing. Now without it, with just that swing part, if we did,
It's really boring.
right? Isn't that funny, the difference once you add it in?
Yeah.
It's like, no turning back.
It actually helps if you look in the mirror while you're doing it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I found that very helpful to see.
That you
how
can see
how I
yourself?
do it, yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna have you go ahead and go back first. Okay. I mean, back with your right foot.
Okay, I'm going to be in your.
And so when I'm holding you, I'm trying to make sure that I have the arm connection first. I want to be careful that I'm not doing that too. That's what we want to watch, that he doesn't do that. And then drop your elbow down just a little bit. There you go. Because it's like, okay, there you go. So it's step, brush, brush. Oh, just, no, not anything yet. Now, just put the foot out to the side, and then step, brush. Now, we're gonna go slow motion, put the foot out, and then move to the side. Step, brush, foot out. Foot out, push to the side, forward,
Wait,
left foot forward. Step, brush, push. Step, brush, push. Okay, so you're doing
I'm
this?
doing that.
The
Okay.
Stevie Wonder head? Okay, so you have step, brush, push, step, brush, push, step, brush, push, step, brush. I'm gonna turn this around because you're not really looking and I can see what you're doing a little
Yeah, that's
easier.
better, yeah.
Okay, so step, brush, push, step, brush, push, step, brush, push, step, brush, and watch what you're doing, not so much with your head.
So don't move my head, I mean, just move my feet.
Let me just do that towards the camera one time, because that was actually really good. Once I stopped your head, and I could see what was going on too. Okay, so step, brush, swing, step, brush, swing, step, brush, swing. And I'm going to stop your head a little bit. Step, brush, swing, step, brush, swing.
Yeah, I don't have to move my head.
Right.
Really, it just has.
Because you're doing your head extra too.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of doing more than, and then it kind of flops over in front of me. It's like, okay. All right. You want to try it together again?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I think, so whatever way the guy is swaying, I think I'm going that way.
Yeah.
I doesn't
Yeah.
really have a choice.
Yeah, and if the man does it nicely,
Yeah.
then you feel it, right? You
Yeah.
feel the flow of going with him. Brush, sway, step, brush, sway, sway, nice. Sway, step, brush, sway, nice. And at any point, Elliot, if you want to start rotating it, you can. We just did it without turning, just so we could see it in the mirror. But I think it actually flows better if you rotate. Sway, sway, sway. And so the sway is actually, like most people when they try to add sway in because they see it, or they try to do it by tipping their head or their upper body, but it really happened by putting the foot out. Yeah. The foot precedes you and you push. Yeah, nice. Nice. Very good. And I feel like that really helps to synchronize.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's done.
Oh, it's good, huh?
Good
Yeah,
topic,
yeah. So, it's useful to go back and
Yeah, right.
work on the basics. Just like when I was working with them on the last lesson, we spent, it was a complicated pattern, but we spent pretty much the whole time on it, except for the last 10 minutes, on these 2 waltz moves that they're trying to do, that they're working on. They're complicated patterns, and
Yeah.
it's just like you need to come back and work on the basic elements of them to make them work right, or they're always going to be kind of,
They're really motivated ever since she did the
They're
message
like
for me.
really
I
into
won
it,
the
yeah.
prizes. They're really.
Yeah, and it's like the ones that, and you guys do that, you're willing to work on the details, but in the beginning, you also went, I just think it's all about how many steps I know,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And then you know all these steps that you don't remember, what,
Yeah, right.
and
remember.
and you don't use them, so it's really how you do it, and you're gonna, just like that 80-20 rule of
Yeah,
your
right.
clothes, I said that before, right? You wear the same 20% of your clothes 80% of the time.
Okay, so now let's shift. What should we do next? Open left or right or something else?
Okay, that was, did we do any left? That was
Well,
left.
that was just a left closed box.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you want
right,
to go
right.
to the open
Well,
box?
Yeah, okay. The open box is just open left and open right.
Yeah, the
combined.
open left
Right.
box, which is taken from what we just did, but instead of closing our feet, we're going to pass our feet. And the reason that we do that is because it creates more movement. So if you see me do the closed box in the same direction, I'm doing a lot of rotation on it, and it'll move quite a bit if I do that. But if I do an open box, you see how much more I moved. Yeah. So that's why everybody likes those open movements, because they have more flow to them.
Right.
And so usually people try to do them before they really understand what they're doing. So if I did actually, one of the easiest ways, again, to start that is, I think maybe again in the mirror here. And if we did, so before we were doing forward, side, together, back, side, together. So if I do this in like the simplest way without any turn, it would look like this: forward, side, back, and when I step back and across myself. So if I look into the mirror, you kind of don't see the back foot. And then I step back, side, forward, and across, right? Now again, this is kind of awkward to do without turning, but once I step there, then I just kind of collect my foot underneath, rebalance, and I would start over. Forward, side, back, collect my foot in, back, side, forward, collect my foot in. So forward, side, back, collect, back, side, forward. So instead of closing, I'm moving in either the forward or back direction, and that's why I'm able to move more on the floor, right? So you can see why so that is technically the silver level, where the other was the bronze level, right? So then, and what I think about on the first 3 steps is they move to the right. This is kind of what we were talking about in the shadow. The second 3 steps move to the left. So as I step forward, side, back, that all kind of moved rightward. Now these next 3 steps are going to move to the left. Back, side, forward. Okay? Okay, and then I do one more time, forward to the right, side, back, then back, side, forward. Okay, and so then when I do this step to move down the line of dance, as you know, you started in that diagonal center, and it's very specific about, I mean, I can break this down into a lot of detail, but it's very specific about really what's happening on every step. If I'm going forward, I'm on the outside of the turn, so I have to do special things to be able to get around, and that's to let my feet turn on the floor, right? And that's one of the hardest things to do, because we tend to plant them
Yeah, right.
and then just leave them. So when I take this first step forward, instead of just leaving it there, I've got to turn it all the way to here, right? So as I take my second step, this right foot isn't facing that way, or excuse me, left foot isn't facing the way we started. And now the right foot is also going to turn, so it's going to end up right in line with the board as I step back. You know, so that, again, there's very specific things that,
Right.
so whenever I do this step, I do it the same exact way every time, unless I lose my balance. So, again, I'll do that one more time. That was a good one. So I have forward, side, back. And then the brushing is still there, but because I'm moving more, it's not as evident. It's more, it passes. So you'll see when I take this step, this one's going to pass right here, but not necessarily going to stop, but it does pass right next to the other one and to there. And then on the second half, I'm on the inside of the turn if I'm doing backwards, right? So on the inside of the turn, I don't swivel my feet, because if I do, I make it harder for my partner to get around. So when I step back, and when I step back, I kind of pigeon toe that right foot in a little bit. So the right foot, so yeah. And then the left foot points all the way into that corner. And then the right foot goes forward and across. And then I just collect my foot in, ready to take the next step. So there's an exactness to it that, you know, obviously very detailed.
Yeah, right.
But if you watch me do it, again, like I said, I'll do it exactly that same every time. Unless my partner doesn't allow it, but you know, that's what I'm shooting for, right? Okay, you want to do it one more time?
Sure.
So we're going slow, forward, side, back, then back, and this is called pointing. What that means is my foot is pointed there, but my body is actually facing more towards the windows. But then, when I go to take the last step, my body will catch up with my foot. And now everything's going that direction. So, and the reason I do that is because I'm on the inside of the turn. So that allows my partner, who has to go from here to here, time to get by me before I close my feet. Because if I turned right away, they're left back behind, right? Yeah.
Okay. So should we do it together or separately?
Yeah, let me do it with you first. So, okay, and then that's it, and open that up, there you go. So you're gonna go forward, side, back, and then just collect your foot underneath you, because it's easy to be back weighted
Yeah,
right
right.
there, and then move on back, side, forward. Collect your foot underneath you, that's it, and then you're ready to go into the next, yeah? So that collecting your foot underneath you is important for your balance, or you're always going to be, and it'll make you go faster than you want to if you don't do that, because then your body's falling into the next step faster.
Right.
Can I do it one more time? Forward, side, back, side, forward. Yeah. And then I'm going to have you do think of one other thing as you start off. When you start off, if you don't even have to move, but if I was going to move towards you, this is the first thing that I feel come forward, right?
Yeah.
So if you came forward, if you started by, the first thing that I start to do is relax into my legs. We talked about that before.
Right.
And start to get the foot where I want it to go.
Uh,
I'm not moving the body at all. In fact, my body is staying back over my heel as I put my foot out in front of me. Yeah. So as you start off, whoop. So I'm going to just put my hand here so you can feel. So relax where you're standing, into your legs a little bit. Start to put your foot out in front of you. And then collect before you go back so you're balanced. And then,
Okay.
That was good.
yeah, do you see? So it's a habit
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
come forward through here first, because it seems like you need to move the lady out of your
Yeah.
way, so it seems like the obvious thing. But it actually feels, so if I step towards you, if I just put you over here to go back, if I step towards you, I'm going to do kind of a semi-hold here, this way, or, so go ahead. Yep, you feel me? That's what the lady would do. She would feel, and then I'd start to put the foot out and move. And as opposed to going,
Yeah.
right? Right?
And that has to do with my feeling that the frame is not right too. 'Cause
Yeah.
If I don't feel that tension in the frame, then it's hard for me to do that. So
Mhm.
the ladies have to do her part too.
And then what I do to create the frame, so I'm not going to make you take steps, but most of the frame is right here.
It's just the elbows.
Right, my hand's not even on your
Yeah,
back.
right.
Now,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have a frame because I don't have,
Uh-huh.
so not only is the elbow in connection,
Uh-huh.
but my arm here
Uh-huh.
and, you know,
Yeah.
all the way
Uh-huh.
through, pretty much,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Or here, so it's
Yeah.
too far around you.
Uh-huh.
I try to make sure that I come out to the
Okay.
lady's arm.
That's important because I'm relying too much on the back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In fact, if you have a frame, the hand is your decorative
Yeah.
because it's there. It's not really that functional. So when I take the position here, the first thing I do is not put my hand on her back because now our arms don't fit, right? I go here, and then my hand just goes wherever it goes depending on the hand length, right? If I go here first, that's not too bad, but if I, yeah, so making the arm connection, and if I can keep that, as much as I can keep that the same, and drop the elbow just a touch, yeah. Okay, that's it. And then I want to feel like, put your weight, so here's my weight forward over the balls of the feet. Here's my weight sort of in between. Here's my weight over the heels. So put your weight a little bit more over the heels. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's, because I think you tend to dance on, well, we know you dance more on your toes, right? Yeah, there, yeah. So now, again, I feel more connection from you. It's easier to connect to you. So we're going to do, you're going to go back, side, forward, back, side, forward, and then collect your foot underneath you. And right here, if your head was in the same place and your feet were in the same place, but I just ever so slightly did this with your frame. And you can see that here, there's like not a lot of space right there. Here, do you see how there's more space and it's more open? Then you step forward towards me, forward, and you're the one that's doing the foot turning. And then right here, again, keeping your feet and your head where they are, I'm just going to ever so slightly turn. Wasn't too much though, right? The body position now. Now, our right sides are right in front of each other. Now, they're beside each other. Here, they're slightly in front of each other. So now it's going to be easier for the next step I take, which has to, you're going to go back with your right foot. It has to move towards you again. Like it has to move back on outside of you, outside partner, and I have to move right towards you. And if I'm over here, that's not going to happen. If I'm here, it's easier for me to get into that position. So let me do that one more time. So my job and your job is to try to keep our right sides in front of each other instead of, or, right? So So we're gonna always make sure it's like radar, that's gonna stay right there. So we have slow, quick, quick. Let's check it there. That's better. Yeah. Slow, quick, quick. And that's better too. They're more. Now again, I could have gone here, but if I'm here now, I can easily go into whatever I'm going to do next.
Okay.
By just making sure that the body position stays there. Easier said than done when you're moving, but an important aspect of it. To make you a better follower
Yeah.
and him a better leader, right? Yeah. Now do it one more time without stopping. So we have, yeah, and you feel your weight over your heels a little bit more. That's it. Slow, quick, quick. Take your weight over your heel. That's it. Do you see how it's easy to then slow, quick, quick, and then collect your feet in, and then I'm ready to step towards you. Now, do that step again. You're standing on this one. Yep. Okay. There you go. That was really nice. Before you were kind of doing
Yeah,
something
okay.
like this, right? Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, let's try it together now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are all those details, techniques. Whoops. So why don't you go, oh, it's better just for the camera? But start at this diagonal and go. Yeah. So, so this connection, how does that feel?
Do what Carrie did. She didn't hold on to me first.
I'm not holding on to you, my hand is like here.
Oh, okay. It seemed like.
So I'm
So I'm trying to-
get the connection in the arms.
Yeah, and try to get all the way your forearm out to her elbow as much as you can. Yeah. Yeah, maybe a little bit in from there. That's it.
Can you put your arms down? Hold on. Okay, now,
And
I'm gonna put my arm.
And try this, Elliot, too. We didn't talk about this, but do you see that there's an angle from my right elbow down to my fingertips? So there's a slight angle down.
I don't have enough of an angle, it means I have to actually put it more around to get more
No,
angle.
I mean, if you take your arm off her for just a second, and you put your arm out like this, so elbow, to there. Now, it's not going to be that close to you, though. And then we're going to stretch this out as much as we can. This, maybe put them on the stretching rack, right? Does that hurt your elbow, shoulder? Okay, because some people do have some issues around the shoulder area.
It doesn't hurt, just tight.
Yeah, yeah, so just doing this more and more, stretching this out. So you could do this, if you came over here, like, do you see how I'm just putting,
Okay.
and then kind of feel like you kind of stretch it slightly away from the shoulder. Yeah. Not too much pressure, because we don't want to pull anything, but, yeah. Because this stays down, right? It doesn't have to lift up to pull out. Yeah. And take your arm a little bit more this way, yeah. So it should fit right into, that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's much better.
Now, can I remember this?
Yeah, right.
Sit. One.
Quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. Yeah. And then when you take that last
Oh,
step,
yeah,
Elliot,
collect,
just
right?
collect, because you
Yeah.
lost your balance because you never
Yeah.
really fully weighted yourself on it. Let's see if you can get back into that frame. Yep. And then do that one more time, because I want to fix this a
Yeah.
little bit too. So, yeah, so keeping this back as your leg comes forward first. Yep, staying back. Yes. Wow, that made a huge difference on how that looked from your
Yeah.
movement, because the first thing I see is
Yeah.
that
It
when
was
you
out
move
of
forward.
balance. and everything.
Okay, you got your frame. Yep, and you're staying over your heel as your foot comes out in front of you. Yes. Okay, now, one other thing I need to fix is that you did this really nicely, and then you're like, tipping over to the right. So remember the sway, right? So you're gonna go this way to the left. You're going to the right, right?
Let me see.
To the left.
Oh,
What?
what is that doing?
Uh-huh. So if you did this, let's see where we can see it in the mirror. If you turn towards the mirror at a diagonal like this, right? And you did slow, and now just take that first step. Yeah. Do you see? So this is where you want to be, and you're over here. Quick, quick.
And maintain it.
Yeah.
You go to the left.
Uh-huh. Then to the right.
Wait.
Quick.
Okay, then I want to lean the other way from the other way.
Yeah, and this will be more minimal because it's towards where she is, so
Yeah.
you're not gonna, you don't wanna go too far that way. But you're gonna go to the left, quick,
Quick.
neutral,
Slow.
to the right.
Quick.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're starting off our frame, how we move forward, and then staying to the left on this first part. To the left, to the left. Whoa, nice. That was very nice.
Couple more times.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Almost out of time.
So make sure you go at this diagonal. There you go. So now, before you start, yeah, so make sure that you move from here and not from here. Yeah?
Ready.
Slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick.
Somehow she's lagging behind and I'm trying to, I'm in the wrong position because she's way back here.
Yeah, let's do that one more time. But there's so many good things about what you did. Let me just see where that went off. I'm watching the position.
Ready.
Slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. That was better.
But she still was kind of, I felt a little lagging, but.
Yeah, and so
But actually, what part of the problem is when I'm supposed to finish more or less like, I'm facing too much that way. I should be,
No, you-
when I take a step,
Yeah.
we're temporarily like this and then I take the step.
yeah. Mhm, mhm.
But I feel like she's too far to the
Yeah, let me
right.
do that with you once so you can see. Yeah, and that was like trying to keep our right sides in front of each other. If I get over here, then that's not happening. That's what we were talking about before. Okay, so you're here and you're staying. You see how I'm right, and my right side is right in front of your right side, instead of,
Right.
yeah. Remember we were just talking about that, so that's another element.
You want to try to do it with her, see if
Yeah.
she's on the right side or?
So in the two places where I stop and check it is on the slow, quick, quick, on that second quick. And that's where you collect too, so that's an easy spot to want to, nice, very good, yeah. Slow, quick, quick. Now, I'm stopping here because I'm just checking, because usually you were turned a little bit more there, so now you're doing good. And now you step forward, slow, quick, quick. Your head's still over that way though. Nose and toes are facing over there. But instead of here, here. And I have to make sure that when I'm doing the man's part that I don't turn more than she can on that second half. Yeah.
Okay. One more time and we're done.
And when you get into position, do what you just did with me, because that was so good. You feel her into your arm more?
well,
Yeah,
that's really
yeah,
a lot better.
yeah.
Ready?
So watch the position.
I was gonna collect and then do
Oh.
the step, but I.
Oh.
Yeah, and the only thing now is that you're a little bit far away from each other, which makes it, like, even when you start, you're kind of like.
Yeah, right.
So if we can move a little bit closer, it's actually easier to get
Right.
around each other. And I feel like easier to stay in this position. Now go over your heels again. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, one last time, and I'm gonna do 2 in a row so that we don't stop dead.
And remember, 2 in a row do not travel down the floor, because they only make, it doesn't go a full rotation,
Oh,
right? So that's another thing that most people do try to do 2 in a row, and then they overturn it, and you can't, it only goes, from one diagonal to the other. Yeah. Yeah,
Little see, I mean, I
yeah,
lost
so
it.
that, it would have ended up
Yeah.
over there. Yeah,
That's okay, that's enough for today, I think.
got dizzy?
Thank you.
Well, that was some really good progress.
Blinking, why is it blinking?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
No, I guess it's okay. Oh, it says battery's dead.